Hey everyone, I'm just going to quickly jump into a game on Taddel, but first I need to actually make the new list. So we're going to be testing Hanabi Blaster today. And so we're just going to quickly go and grab it. And we're going to try to quickly build a shell around this. So I'm really not sure about removing one of the weapons. I don't think we need Taddel anymore, so I think we're going to be cutting that. This was mostly just here as a way to kind of swing tempo going second, but I think that we're perfectly fine with the Hanabi Blaster now. So the question is, what are we cutting? I think what changed about the deck is we have to cut cards like Payload. Basically just chain closers that don't have boost because we need to present at least 3 boost cards a turn on average, or we need to present a stronger finisher. So basically like Overblast or Maximum Velocity. Basically we're going to be looking for turn cycles, which maybe is kind of foolish in Blitz because it's very difficult to actually survive long enough. But the idea is that we would play 3 boost cards in a row and then play Overblast, and then on the following turn play 3 boost cards in a row and then play or activate our Hanabi Blaster. So you kind of cycle in between, either closing with a chain closer like Maximum Velocity or Overblast, or actually closing with the Hanabi Blaster. Alright, so we got a Kassai, which is going to be interesting because I think Kassai is traditionally a pretty hard matchup because of the ability to fatigue. So it'll be pretty interesting to see. It'll be pretty interesting to see what it's like. Oh, that's awesome. Well, hello, if you are watching this in the future. I think we need to bring Foundry Heart just to be able to deny maybe 1 copper for a pivot turn. Specifically, more if they're like going to try to pivot off of like a 2 or 3 card hand that involves Spoils of War. Oh, this is difficult, but it's tough because I just don't know if I just want to go like full combo on them, because I think we might just have the ability to race, but I think I do want to be able to soak 1 Spoils of War hit. We are going first, so I think we do have to bring Foundry Heart just to be able to block on turn 2. Pretty bad starter hand, honestly. I don't really know exactly what we're trying to do here. I think the best thing we can do is just throw the Overblast, pitching the Throttle just to filter. Then we'll arsenal the other Overblast and hopefully get to keep it blue, but it's going to be kind of difficult on the back foot here. My opponent will get to filter a little bit, which is pretty unfortunate. This hand could be a lot better. We can present 3 boost cards off of this, which is pretty good because we can go Zipper Hit, close the chain, Foundry Heart, and then go High Speed Impact or we can go Combustible Courier into High Speed Impact. Although the Combustible Courier definitely just gets blocked, unfortunately. My opponent has too much armor. It's pretty tough. Okay. Man, 5 is a lot. I guess the question is whether or not we just want to block down with some cards and we can just keep a 2-card hand that goes Zipper Hit into Overblast. But I just really want to be able to present 3 boost cards. I think we'll just get to pivot pretty hard off of this next turn. So we'll let this go through because there's probably going to be... Yeah, Red Blade Runner is pretty good for our opponent. We take a lot of damage here. 10 damage is a lot. How much are we coming back with? We can't even block, unfortunately, unless we give 2 cards here. Just because it goes up to 6, goes to Centauri Sabers. The idea is that we could go... I mean, we can go Zipper Hit, High Speed, Impact. Let's just try to pivot. Let's just pivot the hardest we can. My opponent only gets 2 coppers, so it's not enough to pivot off Blood on our hands yet. So we're gonna go all in on Combustible Courier. It's gonna get shut down with like Brave Forge Bracers, but I think that's fine here. We'll come in. It's pretty standard blocking for Kassai, but we at least take a little bit of pressure off of our following turn. Oh, my opponent lets it go through. I didn't think that was gonna happen, unfortunately. Unless they have a defense reaction. Well, okay, they do. It's a little bit more defensive. Well, that's good for us because I was not planning on this thing hitting because the Foundry Heart line like actually does not work if my opponent lets that go through, because then we would just end up having to like just play a zipper hit and then just passing. We would just lose too much value. Okay. Well, that's pretty nice because it means our... Not that I think it would really matter. Oh, we didn't need a boost there, unfortunately. I forgot about that. Alright, so now we just pass. A lot of blues so we can actually block down here, or we can just play it out. We can pedal the metal. Yeah, so here's the Spoils of War turn, so this is where we're going to pivot off the 2 equipment pieces, just like what we talked about. And then we're going to filter... I think I want to filter the zipper hit. Just barely too useless, unfortunately. Okay. What does our hand look like? We let this hit. We get 2 copper, which is pretty bad. I think we just have to let this one go through. What's our turn looking like? We need 4 resources, so kind of not much of a reason. Wait. So if we play the 0 to 60, we close chain. We go. We just losing too much damage though. It's 1 versus 1, so it's the same amount. We'll take the 2 here. My opponent gets a ton of copper, but I'm hoping that they can't really pivot at this point, but we'll see. So what card do I want to open with first? I guess I'll just open with the pedal to the metal. It puts on an awkward breakpoint for my opponent, which is I think what we want. I just don't want to close a chain here because I want to be able to go Overblast and then follow up with Hanabi Blaster, but... Oh, I forgot that we actually can't because we're only presenting 2 boost cards. Well, that really sucks. I misread my own cards, unfortunately. So we should have just blocked with that 3 block there. So that was a misplay. We should have either blocked the T-bone or we should have played it. I can't. It's hard sometimes. I'm also new to like this version of the deck, but you also miss out on a lot of stuff just playing online, as opposed to actually holding the cards in your hand and playing. Because if you go T-bone and pitch throttle, it's a little bit worse, but we're still able to present, because we're just losing 5 damage here, unfortunately, which is just really, really terrible. Like, just losing way too much. Like, I just don't think that my opponent would really be interested in, yeah, blocking anything past this, unfortunately. And we can even follow up with Hanabi Blaster here, which would rip 2 cards. Just really bad. And now we just have a non-blocking card, so I'm pretty sure we just lose. Sucks, but yeah. Oh well. I think we either should have blocked to that T-bone, or we should have... Man, this is rough. We didn't even get to use Hanabi Blaster once. I think it just means that the current card pool just doesn't work, unfortunately. Like, there just needs to be new things that get added. This one's gonna hit. You can come back with 0 to 60 and it takes 1 card, or it takes 2 cards to the pounder, but bummer. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, we just misplayed. Bummer. Okay. So what went wrong there? Well, this is tough. We never got to use the weapon. I think that there's a really serious issue with the current card pool, just like not being able to reliably turn it on enough. We also misplayed really hard on that one turn. I don't think it would have actually mattered, but well, I guess it would have. They wouldn't have been able to do the run through, push forward, whatever that card's called. So actually that misplay cost us the game. So I'm not gonna write that off just yet as like, I'm not gonna write it off yet as being like bad right now with the current card pool, because like that misplay was pretty serious. Like I'm a little upset that I misplayed that hard. Like that one misplay probably cost the match because it meant that we weren't able to break Achilles to Hanabi Blaster. Also, I'm like really surprised at how fast that game was over. Like Kassai being able to end the game that quickly was pretty crazy. Probably should have blocked. Either should have blocked with the T-bone or should have played it instead of pitching it. I just completely forgot that I needed to present 3 boost cards. I think that's like the biggest issue, is just not having enough boost cards that are actually like worth playing. I don't think Vest would have been better there because we got exactly what we wanted out of it, which was, but we didn't get anything actually. Because I don't know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for sure. Kind of wish it was a little bit smoother of a card. Like all we need is just like another 0 cost probably, because like I just want to cut this, or I want to get down to a version of the deck where I can actually just cut like Spark and Core and just play like a weird like redline version, where you just have blues for like the 2 costs, so like Overblast, Combustible Courier, Throttle, I guess. Man. I think he just like difficult too, because if you just can't get a counter on it, then the game's just over. The game's just over before you can even like use your weapon. Like in that game we had 2 attacking turns and we could have like pistoled twice, like if you're running Teklo Plasma Pistol, but it is difficult. This feels like a snowballing kind of weapon. It's gonna feel like almost oppressive when you're ahead. It's gonna feel unplayable when you're behind. I mean, we literally didn't play with a weapon that game because we never got 2 counters on it, which is pretty bad. It's a pretty serious downside. Let's wait for someone else to join. All right, we got an Ira. It'll be interesting. Into Ira, we're gonna be running Foundry Heart because we need to be able to block Kodachis. Although there's a chance they go Needle. It's pretty good. I think going second, we're just gonna pivot as hard as we can. Honestly, that seems kind of nice, but if they're like a mid-range version of Ira, getting a card to hit may be kind of difficult. So I think I would rather just have this. So we're going first. Okay. So we're just gonna play all of these 0 to 60s. And that's just because I just want to be able to get a counter on the blaster as fast as I can. See what happens here. Alright, breaking skills on turn 1. That's not bad. And then we get our Hanabi Blaster counter. And yep, our opponent is going Needle. Which means that we're probably going to be trying to use Foundry Heart on the first Kodachi rather than the Needle itself. I do believe this turn... What can we do? We can pitch a blue, we can go Zipper hit, we can go Combustible Courier, Zipper hit, 0 to 60 Hanabi Blaster. So I think we're fine getting rid of one of the combustible couriers on this turn. We'll let this hit. I think we're fine letting this hit. I'm more concerned about... Full is kind of difficult. I'm willing to get Razor Reflex by this, so we'll block like that. Alright, doesn't hit. Oh, my opponent came in with... Oh, they used snaps. Okay. I'll take this one. It's a fine hit. Oh. Yeah, that's really good. Oh, that's just... Is that just showing that's revealed information? Okay. So we'll come in for 8. Very good pivot. If this goes through at least. If it goes through, then this is essentially 11 damage. It'll be 11, 15, 19, 24. So 24 damage hand. But we're probably getting full blocked here. We'll see. Okay. But it still hit. Sure. Okay. That's really good for us. I mean, the flick flag value is pretty good, so... oh. Alright. My opponent's trying to pivot here, but I don't think it's going to work out because I think they're forced to block with some more cards. And here comes Hanabi Blaster. That's a pretty good pivot turn. It's 24 damage. They don't have Mask. We still have 3 health available. And we still have 1 more counter on the Pounder, so... I'm gonna block for 2. That's my opponent's 1. T-Bone rips like 2 cards at least. It's going to be a pretty good pivot for my opponent here. I don't know if they can do on 4 cards and us at 11 life. They probably wagered too much, I think, trying to go this low. I'll just let this hit. There's no mask either, so it's gonna be much more difficult for them to like push the ceiling on this turn. Just block the pedal to the metal. Sure. Push the point for 6 is pretty good. Unfortunately, this hand comes in for 7. Another 3. So what happens when I block like this? I take 3, I go to 2. Am I willing to risk not finding a 0 cost? I don't think I am. I just want to find another pitch card so I can, like, I ideally want to drop this and go find a blue. But if I do this and I go to 2, then the Kodachis are a real problem for me. If I block like... I think maybe I'm supposed to block like this. Actually, no. Because we get the Tunic, which is probably what we want. We're not going to do any of the cards. It's a risky move for sure, but what's nice about this is we come out with the Throttle. The cool thing about the T-Bone is it still takes a card from our opponent and it takes their Tunic, because even though their Tunic is going to block 1 damage, they still have to find a way. They still have to block the card from hand, so I think we're going to get every single card. Or at least going to get 2 cards. We're going to get 3 cards this turn. That's really solid. And we can take one Kodachi. We can take one Kodachi and then have to block one needle and then come back with a 3-card hand. Oh, the returning hand isn't too much better, unfortunately. Oh, tough. I think we'd block. And then we're gonna block. And we'll take 2 cards from our opponent. We probably should have played the yellow T-bone first. But this is small errors. We may lose this game too. Yeah. Pretty unfortunate. There was no breakpoint cards in this hand, and keeping 3 cards to be able to blaster is just not. It's not good if there's no counter on it. Man. How did they gain 1 life? I must have missed that. Or have they always been at 2? No, they were at 1. When did they gain 1 life? I must have missed something. Did they block with? Oh, they played a sigil and then took damage. I see. What are we trying to keep here? So we're trying to keep throttle so we can rip 2 cards, rip 1 card, but then the problem is that they still. Ugh. I guess just better to block with this one. Not that we're gonna see that cycle of the deck. Oh. Alright, we'll just lose. Unfortunately. Having no pistol is really hard. You get to attack once, and then if you don't attack with it again, you just lose. We just have to open ourselves up to raise a reflex because there's just no way. We'll block with this. Hope that they just have 2 defense reactions. Oh, that's probably not going to happen. Nope, it did not happen. How is my opponent at 5? Oh, they played another sigil. Okay. Just arsenal pass. Probably lose. Block here. Block here. Yep. Alright. Man. This weapon is not seeming to be that good. Let's run it back one more time. We used it 1 time that game. This weapon just doesn't seem good in Blitz. It's really odd to say, but like when Blitz is unfortunately just such a short format, you only get to attack with it 1 time. That's like not good. Especially because if you don't kill your opponent with the 1 attack, then the problem is then it probably means your opponent took a bunch of damage to then pivot back into you, which means you now have to block with cards. And if you're not keeping 4-card hands, you're not really able to actually present 3 boost links. So then you're never able to actually put counters on your blaster again. Like the rest of that game, we never put counters on blaster once. Maybe you could argue it took too much damage, but same time, like it's Ira, it's like a defensive build where like they don't have very high ceiling turns. We also blocked out cards. We blocked out the Soul Beat Strike. We left ourselves open again, a Razor Reflex blown out because I was going to trigger Mask as well. Yikes. Hard. We need like actual juice in Dynasty, or else I think this weapon just isn't good. Like, I think I would almost rather, oddly enough, be using Talishar, because even with Talishar, those hands I can just keep like Throttle and Talishar, and that would have done so much more work that game, because there was like a hand where I could have, when my opponent was at 1 and I kept a T-bone, I could have done like Throttle into Talishar. Not that I think it would have mattered, because I think they flick-flacked and then they blocked for, it would have blocked for 5 on the Talishar. But regardless, still pretty bad. Not really great. At least like my first impressions of the card. And Blitz too. I assumed that Blitz would be a faster format, and so my assumption was that the Blaster would do so much more work because you're able to just like clock your opponent for 20 plus damage pretty easily. But man, this card has felt like it's felt unplayable. I genuinely don't feel like I've used it once. There was one cool pivot turn with it in that Ira game. We never even got to use it in the Kassai game. And we played against 2 mid-range decks. We played against 2 mid-range decks that are notoriously slow and grindy, that also had like really explosive power turns. Like, it was kind of absurd that Kassai got like blood on her hands in the first like 2 hands and then just got to play it with like push forward, you know? So like the stars kind of align on that. Like, it's probably not super common, but I mean, still, like we're getting beat on like turn 3 by mid-range decks. Like, you just don't have the time in this format to set this thing up. I don't know. That's why I don't play Blitz. Like, it's just unfortunate. You literally can't even like use the weapon. We got to use it one time. Now, to be fair, there was a misplay in that Kassai game, so we could have actually activated it once in the Kassai game. It was my own error, but even then, like, it's never gonna attack again, which is pretty bad. It's only good if you're basically stripping your opponent's entire hand and you're trying to close the game out. So like, you are like full boosting into them with like your 4-card hand every turn, and they full block it, and then like you just keep on, you rinse and repeat that until you get 2 counters, and then you remove them and you win the game. But the problem is you have to get your opponent low enough to even get there in the first place, and you're not doing it when you don't have a weapon for basically the entirety of the game. Like, if a Blitz game is done in 2 turns, like, you're just playing without a weapon. Like, it's really bad. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to use like even like Plasma Pistol, but you're just not getting it in this deck with this weapon specifically. All right, we're playing against Dory. Okay, that's pretty interesting. It's gonna be pretty similar to Kassai, although we're gonna probably have to fold hands a lot more often, just because of the Dawnblade counter ability. I think we're still gonna try. Hanabi Blaster. We're gonna go second, so that she loses tempo basically, not being able to demand a bunch of cards from us on turn 2, which pretty much shuts down our aggro strategy. The idea is that if she attacks here, we can just block 9 and probably just go next on the hand. Push through, okay. So we'll just block 9 here. I don't think I've ever seen this card. I actually don't know what it does. What is this from? This is from Monarch. Gains +3 if this weapon defended by an attack action card. Okay, so it just gets the Centauri Saber text line. Okay. Well, this is really unfortunate because we could play Bummer. We could play out the Teklo core, but now we're just hanging resources, unfortunately. Kind of what we talked about already. Just another issue with the Hanabi blaster is just not really having anything to do with these extra resources that we just leave at the end of every turn. Like, we just lost 2 resources and didn't really gain anything. But it's difficult because we still have, you know, like 2 cost cards on the curve. So we can't just entirely give up our blue cards. What happened? Sharpened Steel. I think we let this one hit and then we full block the second one. Or we just... Yeah. I think we just let this one hit. And then we just arsenal the T-bone. Oh no, go again was presented. Okay. Wow. Alright, so we saved ourselves there. It'll be pretty difficult for them to go all the way past 9, just this many cards, so... I'm just gonna put that on Arsenal. Now we have a hand that doesn't do anything again. Pretty bad. I think maybe we block with these. Let me ditch a courier. Oh, okay. Wow. Alright, well we just got the hand we wanted now. That's really good. And now I think we're going to say no blocks regardless of what happens this turn. There's a lot of damage though. Well, let's think about how much we're coming back for here. Oh geez, that's right. No, I think this is just too good. We can go... The question is, do we just block with a combustible just to save life? I kinda wish... Because our turn is gonna be Gauntlet, Zipper Hit, T-Bone, Overblast. Oh, we once again don't have a third boost card. That's really bad. This is really awful. How much does this do on its own? So we do 7, 10, 18? Or wait, 7, 10, 19? We could just block with these 2 cards. What a bummer. I think we just go next on this hand. Like, again. And then we're just gonna play the T-Bone. We are gonna boost it. Sure. And then we're just gonna arsenal this and pass. Oh, yikes. I didn't think this weapon would be so janky. I'm just leave ourselves open to getting blown out here because I think there's a lot to buff it if it's gonna be like a run-through effect. Or I don't know, all the cards have the same name now. Yeah, I assumed it was a +3 buff in Arsenal, but are they gonna use fraction bolters here? They didn't. If it's 2+3 effects, we're not dead if we block with Foundry Heart. So we go up to 9, and then we go to 1. Like, we're hedging on them not having another turn. Yep. Oh, that's really bad. But it's ultimately the same, right? So what is our turn looking like? We're trying to go... We have access to 4 resources. I think our pivot's just too good. They have a +3, they have a +3. Okay, we'll see how well this works. But we will go... Red Zipper it for 7. Is a bummer. Stokes a lot of armor. Okay. Now we got our Hanabi blaster. That's pretty good. Especially because this is going to demand the last 2 cards. So this is now what we were talking about from earlier, where we can pivot on 2 turns now. But the problem is we only have a few cards left in deck, which is pretty bad. I think we block with the T-bone. It means that high speed impact is... It can't be another +3 effect, or else I think they would have used it last turn. Oh, what if it is though? It does eat 2 cards, but we probably just lose. They probably just have too much to come back with. I just don't think we ever get to use a Hanabi blaster again. Yeah, I think we're just dead. Yep. Alright. Yeah, this weapon sucks. This weapon's not good. There's just nothing that's been impressive about it in Blitz. We've activated, I think, twice over all 3 games that we played. It's always been very resource inefficient. It has not helped out the strategy at all. It's made it incredibly hard to pivot off of any losing position. And even in a winning position, it's still equally just as hard to use it, because I don't know. It's just, it just feels like just absolutely terrible. This has felt like such a clunky weapon. I almost would rather have like barrel shot here. Like there were a few turns that lined up where barrel shot probably would have just been better. Like, man, like even on this hand, if we needed to, we can strip 2 cards, or we can strip 3 cards, because we can go, like we can even like just banish off Foundry Heart and like go Pedal to Metal, like close chain, banish 2 cards, put a counter on barrel shot and shoot it for 1 and still eats a card. Like just the inflexibility of just having no weapon on the table, like after like turn 2, you don't have it. You have it for 1 turn. You just only get to use it 1 time, and that's like it. And we consider barrel shot to be like a completely like unusable weapon outside of like certain like hands where you would like go crazy for like max velocity or overblast, and then you would like follow up with barrel shot. You would just stack it on the chain with accelerator. But like the thing was is that you could you could reliably pull that off on like turn 2 if you just arsenal a card before and put a counter on the barrel. But this one you have to be pressuring constantly. Like the thing was you could block out, put like 0 to 60 or another 0 cost in your arsenal or max velocity, put a counter on your barrel shot and still block for 6. And then on the next turn, it would come in for 4. The problem is this would come in for 5 after max velocity, but it means you also have to say no blocks on the turn before to then go into your setup turn as well. This weapon is bad. Like, that feels really authoritative, and like I think it'll take the rest of Dynasty to see if there's like actual support for this. But as for like right now, it's hard to articulate into words. But like I don't think I'm like losing bad. Like these do not feel like close games at all. Like all 3 of these games have felt like complete blowouts, where like the games have just like absolutely just crumbled. And it's like mostly because of the weapon. There's just no weapon there, and that's really difficult. Because you can have. I think it's difficult for me to articulate into words how important it is to have an off turn and a setup deck. Like, so let's go back to here. Let's go all the way back. Let's see. Wait, what? Okay. What am I? So let's go all the way back to here, right? So we're building this kind of off of like the same kind of shell, right? So like the thing is that what you needed to do was you needed to put a counter on your barrel shot. You needed to put max velocity in arsenal, or you need to put a card that is very accessible to play with it. So basically like a T-bone or a 0 to 60, preferably like one of the stronger colored ones, or like even like red zipper, it's like fine, or like yellow zipper, it's fine. But the importance was that because that's all you needed to do, it meant that you could block 6, right? You could block with 2 cards, you go to your turn, you put your counter on barrel shot, you arsenal the card, and on the next turn, you hopefully get to say no blocks, and then you hit your opponent for like 24 or something, or more, right? Because like 25 plus usually. The problem with this version that makes it like absolutely terrible is that, where is this? You have to say no blocks on the other turn as well. You don't get to preserve any of your life total. Because think about this like loading, right? You're gonna load barrel shot, because the idea is that you go off of max velocity, you break Achilles, and then you fire your barrel shot at the end for 4, because you boost it 3 times to play your max velocity. This comes in for 5 on your max velocity turn, which seems better, especially because it's free. But the issue is that on this turn, you get to keep 2 cards to set up. The problem is on this turn, you need to keep 4 cards to set up because you need to boost 3 times, and then you don't even necessarily get to arsenal because some of these cards still cost resources. So if even one of them is like a 1 cost, you have to burn all 4 cards in your hand to put a counter on your blaster. So you don't even get an opportunity to arsenal. So like if you have a max velocity in your hand, here, we'll draw up like, we'll draw an example hand, right? Like, first of all, you can't even boost 3 times with this hand. It's like literally impossible. You can go again. This hand also can't boost 3 times. This hand can't boost 3 times either. But like, on the max velocity plan, you can literally pitch one of these yellows, put a counter on your barrel shot, and then get to choose if you want to arsenal 0 to 60 your max velocity. Block with 2 of these cards, so block for 6, right? And then we'll say we put max velocity in arsenal. Well, that was kind of unfortunate, but if we had 0 to 60 in arsenal, this hand does it, right? You go T-bone, you do 0 to 60 from arsenal, you play your throttle, you have 1 resource left floating, you activate your foundry heart, and then you play your max velocity. You lose your barrel shot, but that's fine. Or you can actually, what you can do actually, wait, no, you don't lose your barrel shot, because what you do is you play your 0 to 60 from arsenal, so that's 4, so 7, you throw your throttle for 5, so that's 12. You activate your barrel shot then, so you get 4, so it's 16 damage. And you break Achilles to get your action point. You pay 1 of your foundry heart, you use your max velocity with your Goliath gauntlet, that's 12 more, right? But none of these hands have turned on Hanabi Blaster. None of them that we've looked at so far have made it possible to actually use the weapon. So it just can't exist in a shell like this. This hand also doesn't put a counter on the blaster. This hand barely puts a counter on the blaster, but the problem is you have to say no blocks, right? Or you can get away and only block with this card, but then you're so damage inefficient, right? You're blocking with your best threat to send a 3-card hand that only does 8 damage. Here's your hand afterwards. So this hand, but then once again, you're just hanging resources for no reason. You're gonna pitch a blue to play zipper hit, but then like, what are you doing with those extra 2 resources? It's just really unfortunate. There's just no flexibility with the weapon. You can't swing it during an off turn. It's terrible and behind. It might as well not exist. That's kind of, it's a bummer, honestly. I really thought this weapon was going to be like super sweet. I have tested a game in CC, and I think I'll need to test more, because in CC it feels a little bit better, but it's just because you have the ability to manage, you have more flexibility with your life total to take damage to send cards back, and you also just have more turns, you have more hands basically that can turn on the blaster. So that's just what I'm gonna have to look at, but as for now, closing out this video. Unfortunate note to end it on, but yeah, the weapon does feel pretty bad. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you have tested this weapon and if you've had better success than I have. But as for now, it's me signing off. Thank you for watching.